Are you overwhelmed with the feelings of rejection, disappointment, neglect, abandonment, and failure? Cry no more. See, life is a journey filled with both mountaintops and valleys. Every human being, at one point or another, will experience moments of joy and pain, seasons of success and times of setbacks, moments of laughter and tears. One of the most painful human experiences is disappointment. When our expectations collapse, our dreams seem delayed, or our efforts appear wasted. Yet, in the economy of God, disappointment is not the end. It is a process that leads to divine appointment. In the kingdom, God never wastes pain. Do you hear that? God never wastes pain. He transforms brokenness into blessing, rejection into redirection, and setbacks into stepping stones. What looks like a disappointment today may actually be the womb of tomorrow's appointment. The story of the Bible is filled with men and women who encountered bitter moments of disappointment, but eventually stepped into divine appointments that changed their destiny and the course of history. Come with me. Let me show you that God uses disappointment as a divine instrument to prepare, position, and propel His children into their appointed places of glory. The dictionary defines disappointment as the feeling of sadness or displeasure caused by the non-fulfillment of one's hopes or expectations. In spiritual terms, it is that moment when what you prayed for does not happen the way you planned, when you feel forgotten, forsaken, or frustrated. It is when doors you thought would open remain closed, and when friends you trusted walk away. What a moment! But from heaven's perspective, disappointment is not destruction. It is often a divine rearrangement. Sometimes God will allow things to fail so that something greater can succeed. Isaiah 55 verses 8 to 9, KJV. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Every disappointment must be viewed through the lens of God's purpose. He knows the end from the beginning and will never allow His children to go through unnecessary pain. What seems like a delay or denial is often God redirecting you to your appointed destiny. See, from Genesis to Revelation, every major figure of faith endured seasons of disappointment. Let's consider a few examples. 1. Abraham, the disappointment of delay. God promised Abraham a son and a nation. Yet he waited 25 years before Isaac was born. He faced the mockery of men and the temptation to doubt. At some point, disappointment led him to seek an alternative through Hagar, which created further complications. But at the appointed time, Genesis 18 verse 14, Sarah conceived. Abraham's delay was not God's denial. It was divine timing. 2. Joseph, the disappointment of betrayal. Joseph dreamed of greatness, yet he was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, and thrown into prison for a crime he did not commit. For 13 years, his life was a story of continuous disappointment. Yet in one day, the same God who allowed the pit and the prison elevated him to the palace. Genesis 50 verse 20, Joseph said, Ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good. 3. Hannah, the disappointment of barrenness. For years, Hannah was barren while her rival Peninnah mocked her. Her disappointment drove her to the altar, and there she poured out her soul to God. Out of her tears came Samuel, one of Israel's greatest prophets. Her pain became the pathway to divine purpose. 4. David, the disappointment of rejection. David was forgotten by his father when Samuel came to anoint a king. What a disappointment from his father. Later, he was hunted by Saul despite being innocent. Yet every disappointment in David's life refined him for kingship. He wrote songs in his cave that still bless the world today. 5. Jesus Christ, the disappointment of the cross. To the disciples, the crucifixion looked like the ultimate disappointment. Their master was arrested, mocked, and killed. But 3 days later, the grave became a doorway to resurrection. What seemed like tragedy was heaven's greatest triumph. The cross reminds us that God can turn the darkest disappointment into the brightest appointment. Why God allows disappointments. It is easy to question God when life seems unfair, but there are divine reasons behind every disappointment. Let's explore some of them. 1. To protect you. Sometimes God allows disappointment to protect you from what could destroy you. A closed door may be God's way of keeping you from entering a trap. A broken relationship may be divine deliverance in disguise. Proverbs 16 verse 9. A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directeth his steps. 2. To prepare you. God uses disappointment to shape character. Before you can manage an appointment, you must learn endurance, humility, and faith. Joseph learned integrity in Potiphar's house and patience in the prison. Without those seasons, he would not have survived the palace. Romans 5 verses 3 to 4. Tribulation worketh patience, and patience experience, and experience hope. 3. To position you. Sometimes God uses disappointment to move you into the right place. Ruth's widowhood positioned her in Bethlehem, where she met Boaz. Esther's orphanhood positioned her in the palace to save her people. When one door closes, another often opens, but sometimes you have to walk through the hallway of disappointment first. 4. To prove you. Disappointment tests what you truly believe. It reveals whether your faith is based on feelings or conviction. God allowed Abraham, Job, and David to be tested so their faith could become pure like gold. 1 Peter 1 verse 7. That the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that perisheth. 5. To propel you. Disappointment can push you out of your comfort zone. The pain of unfulfilled expectation often forces you to seek God more deeply and move toward new opportunities. Some of life's greatest breakthroughs are born out of the womb of frustration. These 5 P's are the reasons for disappointment in God. Disappointment comes to protect you, prepare you, position you, prove you, and propel you. Actually, it is never a disappointment, but a divine arrangement beyond the understanding of humans. Join us next for part 2 of From Disappointment to Appointment. It is my prayer that God will turn all things around for you. Like, subscribe, and share our channel to receive notifications for new publications. I love you, and there is absolutely nothing you can do about it.